What if I told you that a single country is building roads, railways, ports, and power plants across more than 140 nations? What if I told you that this project could reshape the global economy for the next 50 years? And what if behind this massive wave of infrastructure lies a deeper strategy, one that could shift the balance of global power? This is the story of China's Belt and Road Initiative, the biggest development project in modern history. But is it a bridge to prosperity or a carefully designed global trap? In 2013, during international visits, Xi Jinping announced an ambitious idea: revive the ancient Silk Road, reconnect Asia, Europe, and Africa, build a network of highways, rail corridors, shipping routes, and energy pipelines. China called it the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, a vision of global connectivity, a promise of shared growth. But when a project spans continents, questions follow. The initiative has two core parts: the Silk Road Economic Belt, land routes stretching from China through Central Asia into Europe, and the Maritime Silk Road, sea routes linking Chinese ports to Southeast Asia, Africa, and the Mediterranean. Together, they form a vast economic web. Trillions of dollars in potential investments, hundreds of infrastructure projects, one country at the center. Here's how it usually works. A developing country needs infrastructure. China offers financing through state-owned banks. Chinese companies build the project. Repayment begins over years, sometimes decades, but often the contractors are Chinese, the materials are Chinese, and in some cases even the labor force is Chinese. So while money flows outward, much of it circulates back to China's own economy. And if repayment becomes difficult, that's where the controversy begins. One of the flagship BRI projects is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. At its center lies Gwadar Port. Through CPEC, China has invested in highways, power plants, and industrial zones. Supporters argue it has reduced energy shortages and improved connectivity. Critics worry about long-term debt obligations. For Pakistan, it represents both opportunity and responsibility. Perhaps the most famous example is Hambantota Port. Sri Lanka borrowed heavily to build the port. Revenue projections fell short. Debt pressures increased. Eventually, the port was leased to a Chinese company for 99 years. This sparked the term debt trap diplomacy. But some analysts argue Sri Lanka's crisis involved multiple lenders, not just China. Still, the narrative stuck, and it changed the global conversation. Across Africa, Chinese-funded projects include railways, highways, and ports. China has become one of the continent's largest lenders. In Djibouti, China established its first overseas military base. Supporters say China is delivering infrastructure the West neglected. Critics say economic influence may evolve into strategic leverage. Africa has become a key testing ground for BRI's long-term impact. When Italy joined BRI, it became the first G7 country to sign on. The decision sparked concern across Europe. Meanwhile, the United States views BRI as part of China's strategic expansion. Washington launched alternative infrastructure programs. The world's two largest economies are now competing, not with weapons, but with investment. Infrastructure has become the new battlefield. Ports are not just about trade, they're about control. Control of shipping lanes, control of energy routes, control of global supply chains. BRI stretches across some of the world's most important maritime choke points. When infrastructure overlaps with geopolitics, it's never just business. So, is BRI really a trap? Some research suggests most countries voluntarily renegotiate terms when needed. Others argue loan contracts lack transparency. The truth is complex. Not every project succeeds, not every deal is harmful, but not every deal is risk-free either. BRI exists in a gray zone between development and strategy. China's ambitions stretch beyond infrastructure. BRI supports broader goals, securing supply chains, expanding trade influence, strengthening diplomatic ties, increasing the global role of the Chinese yuan. If successful, BRI could reshape the global economic order. The center of gravity may shift eastward. So, is the Belt and Road Initiative a global trap? Or is it the largest development partnership of the 21st century? The answer depends on perspective. For some nations, it's a lifeline. For others, it's a risk. But one thing is certain: the world is changing. Power is shifting, and infrastructure is no longer just about roads and ports. It's about influence. It's about strategy. It's about the future. If you want to understand how global power really works, how economies rise, and how nations compete without firing a single bullet, then you're in the right place. This is the Business Archive. Subscribe now, because the next global shift is already happening, and you don't want to miss it.